Every experienced professional was once a beginner. They learned by doing small tasks, writing drafts, running basic analysis, preparing reports, fixing simple problems. At the time, those tasks did not seem important, but they were the foundation. Now imagine those tasks disappear. In many workplaces, they already are. AI systems can draft emails, summarize documents, generate reports, and analyze data. These are the same tasks often assigned to junior employees. The work still exists, but it no longer requires a person to do it. This creates a strange situation. Companies still need experienced professionals, but the path to becoming one becomes less clear because the early steps are changing. Consider a typical career path. A junior employee starts with structured, repeatable tasks. Over time, they build understanding. They learn patterns, develop judgment, and gradually take on more responsibility. Eventually, they reach a level where they can make independent decisions. That progression depends on experience, and experience depends on doing the work. If AI takes over a significant portion of entry-level tasks, that progression may be disrupted. Fewer tasks remain for beginners, less exposure to real situations, fewer opportunities to learn by doing. At first, this looks like efficiency. Senior employees can move faster. Teams can produce more output. The need for junior support decreases. From a short-term perspective, this is beneficial. Costs go down, productivity increases, but there is a second layer. If fewer junior employees are hired, fewer people gain experience. And if fewer people gain experience, the future pool of experienced professionals shrinks. The system becomes efficient in the present, but less stable in the long term. This is not entirely new. Automation has always changed how work is distributed, but the current shift is different in one way. It targets cognitive tasks that were traditionally used for learning, not just execution. There is a reasonable counter-argument. Some argue that AI will not remove learning opportunities, but change them. Instead of doing repetitive tasks, beginners can focus on higher-level thinking earlier. They can use AI as a support system. They can learn faster by interacting with tools rather than performing every step manually. In some cases, this is already happening. AI can act as a tutor, a guide, or a collaborator, but there is a limitation. Understanding often comes from direct experience, from making mistakes, correcting them, and seeing how systems behave in real situations. If too much of the process is handled by automation, that learning may become more abstract, less grounded in actual practice. Another factor is visibility. Entry-level work often makes underlying processes visible: how data flows, how decisions are made, where problems occur. When AI systems handle these steps, those details can become hidden. The output is still there, but the process behind it is less transparent. This can affect how expertise develops. If people interact mainly with final outputs, they may have less insight into how those outputs are produced. They can use the system, but understanding the system becomes harder. There are also organizational effects. If companies rely less on junior employees, team structures may change. Fewer layers, more direct responsibility at higher levels, but also fewer people preparing to move into those roles. Over time, this can create a gap. A smaller group of experienced professionals supporting a system that requires ongoing oversight, with fewer trained individuals ready to replace them. Some organizations are already adjusting. They redesign training programs. They create simulated environments for learning. They encourage employees to engage with AI systems in more structured ways. These approaches can help, but they require deliberate effort. They do not emerge automatically. The broader question is how experience will be built in the future. If traditional entry points change, new ones must emerge. Otherwise, the pipeline of expertise becomes narrower. This does not mean junior roles disappear completely. Many tasks still require human input, and new roles may appear around managing, guiding, and evaluating AI systems. But the composition of early career work is shifting. The long-term impact depends on how organizations respond. If they treat AI only as a way to reduce costs, the system becomes more efficient but less sustainable. If they treat it as part of a broader redesign of work and learning, new pathways may develop. The challenge is not just about replacing tasks. It is about replacing the process through which people become capable. Because every expert was once a beginner, And if the beginner stage becomes smaller or less defined, the path to expertise changes with it. AI may not eliminate the need for skilled professionals, but it may change how those professionals are created. And that shift may be less visible than job loss, but just as important.